Hi, good morning, and welcome to Coffee with the Counselors with Spanish River High School. My name is Natalie Havens, and I am one of the school counselors here at Spanish River. We have with us today Mrs. Wheatley, who is also one of our school counselors, and will be presenting our course selection process for the upcoming 2025-2026 year. Take it away, Mrs. Wheatley.
Hi, happy to be here this morning and to do this. Okay, so we're going to go over some academy information. We have 4 academies here on campus. We have the Biotech, we have Entrepreneurship, we have American History and Law, and then the Early Childhood Academy. The overall purpose of the course selection guide overall is to help you make informed decisions about the courses that we have here on campus and to kind of let you get to know the electives that we have here, as well as all of the academy information as well, and to just kind of let you get informed about the high school graduation information. Speaking of graduation requirements, so you need 24 credits in specific areas in order to get a high school diploma. You need them specifically in English, math, science, and social studies. You need 4 in that English, 4 in that math, 3 in that science, 3 in that social studies. However, it's important to note here at Spanish River, you will be taking all 4 cores all 4 years because that's what universities typically like to see. After that, you also have a practical performing art, also known as a PA credit. That's 1 whole credit, and a physical education credit. That's half a credit of PE and half a credit of personal fitness. That can also be waived with getting a credit of HOPE on FLVS, or if you're doing 2 years of a sport here on campus, or if you're going to do band. You're also needing 8 credits of electives. It's important to note here that if you're earning the ACE diploma, should you successfully earn the ACE diploma by the end of your junior year, that practical performing art and that physical education credit are waived. Also, the one that I haven't gone over yet, that personal financial literacy credit, which is a half credit for students that started 9th grade in the 23-24 school year. That one is also waived if you get the ACE diploma by your junior year. On top of the 24 credits needed, you also need 20 hours of community service turned in. You also need a 2.0 minimum GPA, which is a C average. You also need to pass at least 2 tests, which is your reading requirement, which is that FAST in 10th grade, the PM3. And you need the math test, which is the Algebra 1 EOC. And the civic literacy test, which is there at the bottom. As for diploma designations, we have the scholar designation, which is like a really fancy thing you can apply to college with. I'm applying with my scholar designation, right? You can do this to say that you've done some fancy extra things during school, which is passing all of your EOC tests. You've taken a higher level math and you've done 2 years of a foreign language, which if you note in those graduation requirements, I did not say that 2 years of a foreign language is required. That's because you don't need it in order to graduate high school. However, you do need 2 years of a language in order to get into a university. You also need it in order to earn Bright Futures. So if you're getting that ACE diploma, then you also are going to get Bright Futures, which you need that 2 years of a foreign language in order to successfully get that Bright Futures. Okay. So there's also the merit designation. Hold on, go back there for me for a second, Ms. Havens. Thank you. You also need the merit designation, or you can get the merit designation, excuse me, which you can get through any of our academies as well and through industry certification tests here on campus. Both of those are just kind of fancy stickers you can get on your diploma, and you can also apply to college with them and say I'm applying with my scholar designation or with my merit designation. Just a fancy thing to kind of set you apart from other students. There you go. Thank you. All right, so understanding how your GPA works. So you have your unweighted GPA, also known as your cumulative GPA on SIS, and then you have your weighted GPA, also known as your HPA. It can get a little confusing because they have a couple of different names, but generally speaking, your unweighted GPA does not take into account the level of the class that you are taking. Everything is on that 4.0 scale. If you're looking on the right-hand side of the screen here and you're looking at that regular column, everything is on that 4.0. Whether it's a regular level class, an honors levels class, or a college level class, everything is on that 4.0 scale. And then if you are looking at the weighted GPA, it takes into account the level of the class. So the highest possible GPA would be a 6.0. It's not really physically possible, but that takes into account the level of the class. So if you're in a regular level class, everything's on that 4.0 scale. If you're on an honors level class, everything's on a 4.5 scale. And if you're in a college level class, that's on a 6.0 scale. You have 2 GPAs. Colleges look at both of them. Okay, speaking of that ACE diploma, I've mentioned it a couple of times now. In order to earn the ACE diploma, you have to get 7 points across 3 years. Okay, 7 points in these specific groups. So group 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have to get it in your either 9th, 10th, and 11th grade or 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Group 0 is a required class called Global Perspectives, which we typically offer here in the 10th grade. What's important to note when making your course selection here, right? Because the whole purpose of this guide, and at the end here, you're going to be making your elective choices. If you are missing a category, if you're missing a math and science category, if you're missing a language category, whatever have you, pay attention to that and really select your courses wisely and make sure maybe you have a buffer, or maybe you're selecting classes that you're going to feel more confident in, so that you're not only paying attention to high school graduation requirements, but also ACE diploma requirements. Okay. The reason that you want to earn your ACE diploma, and you want to do that in the first place, is because then you can earn Bright Futures there on the right side of the screen. Bright Futures is a Florida scholarship that can earn 100% free tuition to any public Florida university of your choice, which is amazing. Okay. The top level there, which is the Florida Academic, Florida Academic there, is 100% free tuition. What's nice about the ACE diploma is that any of those requirements you see there on the screen, the GPA requirements, the testing requirements, any of that, ACE diploma waives all of it. Okay. Only thing you have to do is turn in your community service hours, and that's it. Okay. You can do community service hours or work hours. It's your choice when it comes to Bright Futures. That top level, you turn in 100 hours. That second level there, the Florida Medallion, is 75 hours, and that pays for 75% of your tuition. So it's a really awesome opportunity. All right, here's some academy information that we have here on campus. That first academy is we have the history and law. There's classes that you have to take all 4 years for all 4 of our academies. Now, it's important when choosing your electives that you make sure you are selecting the elective class that you need for your academy. So this is the elective class you would need for the grade that you're going into the following year. When selecting your electives for the following year, make sure that you're putting this elective, if you're in an academy, make sure that you're putting that class first as your first choice. Okay. If you're in the history and law, if you're in the biotech, if you're in the early childhood, or for the entrepreneurship, these are the class options that you have. All right, so now we're going to get into the specific class options for the 4 grades, 9th, 10th, and 11th, and 12th. 9th grade, we have the language, math, the English, math, science, and social studies. What's important to note is those are our 4 core subjects. Those are going to get recommended by teachers in SIS for you. We have them listed here so that you can review them and kind of know the options, but ultimately they're going to be decided by the teachers and administration for all the students here for all 4 years. They're going to be recommended by the teachers here. As for electives that students have choice over, we have a handful. I mean, a lot of different options here, okay? World languages, we offer Spanish, French, sign language, and Portuguese. Sign language does count as a foreign language. Okay, you need 2 years of a foreign language, which has to be sequential. So the years 1 and 2, years 2 and 3, so on and so forth, in order to get into a 4-year university and get that Bright Futures. We also have social studies electives. We have science electives. You can see those here. We have some language art electives, practical art electives, which if you recall, that is one of those graduation requirements that you have, that 1 credit that you need in order to graduate. It doesn't have to just be those art electives, which you see on the right side of the screen. It can be speech, debate, journalism, exactly. We have some business electives. So if you're not in the academy, but you're kind of interested in business and would like to do it, we have some business classes that you can take. Or if maybe you are interested in the arts and you'd like to do it, we have theater and stagecraft. Stagecraft, just so you know, is everything that's not acting. When it comes to theater, if you would like to do set design, costume design, lights, things like that, that's what stagecraft is. We have 2 different types of intro to art classes. 2D art is drawing and painting. 3D art is going to be ceramics, pottery, and jewelry. When it comes to technology education, we have some electives there. Digital video tech is working on our morning announcements every single day. They're in the form of a YouTube video. And Foundations of Program is going to be our intro to programming class. Specifically, they focus on Python. We have some music and choir classes. We have a really, really awesome choir and band program here that is just amazing. I highly recommend them. If that's maybe not quite your thing, but you still want to do music, we also have keyboarding, which is an intro to piano class. We have color guard, jazz ensemble, We have quite a few awesome options there. PE electives, we have that personal fitness and team sports, which again, if you recall, personal fitness is a specific graduation requirement. And then you also need a half credit of any PE. We have some other options as well. Early childhood is that open option. So if you're wanting to do that academy class without being in the academy, you can kind of get an intro to what that is all about for early childhood there. And then ACE thinking skills is kind of a higher level math type class where you have to have done geometry beforehand in order to do well in there. That's really for our top kids there, and I recommend it if that's something that you're interested in. All right, 10th grade is going to be very similar when it comes to our English, our math, our science, and our social studies. If you recall, those are going to be selected for you. We just have the options here listed for you. Okay, here's the elective options for you. World languages, it just expands on the options. The languages don't change, but just the levels become expanded. Social studies options, those become expanded for you as well. Now that you're in 10th grade, you can take like Holocaust studies or African American studies. Language arts electives, there's a little bit more. It's important to note ACE Media Studies. There are a lot of different options for ACE Media Studies. When you go into the course selection form and you're selecting your electives, if you would like to take ACE Media Studies, make sure you're selecting the right one, okay? So ACE Media Studies, there's one for the newspaper, there's one for the yearbook, there's one for the morning announcements. If you would like to take ACE Media Studies, just the regular class without doing any of that other stuff, make sure you're just selecting ACE Media Studies and then the one with the course number afterwards without Galleon, yearbook, or any of that afterwards, okay? We have practical arts options still for 10th graders, speech, debate, so on and so forth, and then still some more business options for those 10th graders as well. All right, we have some more drama and options. We have some like a more expanded fine arts electives now that we're getting into 10th grade. AP art is going to be a really awesome option if you've taken and passed another art class, and if you're a really talented artist in that regard. And then technology education, we have some electives in that regard too. We still have some really nice music electives there. And then the PE requirement, if you have done personal fitness and you would like to take some other PEs like weight training or basketball, volleyball, you can take those there as well. All right, 11th grade, English, math, science, and social studies. You can see the options listed here. There we go. All right. The language arts electives. Again, the media studies, make sure that you're selecting the right one. Now, when you take and pass media studies AS, that's the first level. You take and pass it, you can do media studies A level. Okay, that's the second level. You're welcome to take that. Just again, make sure that you're selecting the right one on the course selection form. Okay, not the newspaper one or the yearbook one or the Galleon one or whatever have you. Okay. All right, we have some PA electives here, speech, debate, so on and so forth. More business options here. I don't know if I mentioned business before, but now that you're in 11th grade, so 11th graders now have the option to do OJT. OJT is on the job training, okay? This is where students who have a job and need to leave school one period early in order to get to that job can do so. It's not for everyone because that credit is a regular level credit. So that class gives you regular credit, so it doesn't help like your weighted GPA or anything like that. However, if you're a student that needs to get to work early, that is an option for you. You have to be working at a W-2 job where you pay taxes, you get a pay stub and things like that. You have to be working a minimum of 5 hours per week. And then you also have to have a business class on your schedule. So that would be one of those classes that is in that business section there on that the section right there. Let's see, we have some drama and options there on the screen, as well as some fine art options as well. And then the some more technical education options. All right, these foreign language options. Hopefully at this point that we've already done by 11th grade, we've done 2 years. What's important to note, so 2 years is what's needed in order to do Bright Futures and in order to get into a university. However, in order to be competitive for a 4-year university, they like to see at least 3 years of a foreign language, if not 4 years. So that's why at this point now you'll start to see French 3, Spanish 3, and things like that. Because if you're trying to go to UF, UM, Vanderbilt, right, those really competitive schools, you're going to want to do at least 3 years, if not 4 years of a foreign language. Okay. We still offer those music and chorus electives as well as the PE electives there. Another option that's available for 11th graders starting in 11th grade is going to be a dual enrollment period. Students are welcome to dual enroll. However, it's not for everyone. It's only for students that are extremely organized and responsible. This is where they are dual enrolled, both at Spanish River and at Palm Beach State. They take classes at both schools. Both classes count for high school and college credit, right? And should they pursue to do that, they can speak to their school counselors to get more information. However, they can opt to have a period on their schedule of dual enrollment where they can leave one period early to go take that class at Palm Beach State. All right, and then 12th grade, okay, their last year of high school. There's English, there's math, there's science, and there's social studies. There's the options listed there. Again, remember, those are going to be recommended by their teachers for their placement. Okay, and then the academy options there are listed as well. Okay, sorry, that's the other thing to note. Students are required to take a science even on your senior year. Okay, so even if you have met all of your science requirements, remember that I said that during the graduation requirements, you're going to take all 4 cores, all 4 years. That includes your science. You're going to take your English, your math, your science, and your social studies in your senior year, just like you took it in your freshman year. I hear that quite often. So I understand that if you'd met your science going after your junior year, you're still going to take one in your senior year. That's what universities want to see, and that's what we want to see. All right, going into your social studies electives, you have quite a few going into your senior year. We have both college level and honors level, such as AP European History, Psychology, and Sociology. That's 1 semester of each. There's language arts electives, again, paying attention to that media studies. There's PA electives. Again, remembering if you're choosing to do an OJT period, you have to have that business class on your schedule. And then if you're going to do theater, we have a bunch of different options for theater now that you're a senior, and then the fine arts electives as well. All right, technology options, we have a bunch of those as well as the world languages. Again, paying attention that if you're going to go to a competitive school, you're going to be doing at least 3, if not 4 years of a foreign language there. Okay, and then we have some music electives as well. If you really love PE and you would like to do a PE, we do have options for there. However, if you're college bound, we don't entirely recommend it just because it is a regular level credit and they do like to see you pushing yourself otherwise. However, we understand that some people have different interests. As for other options for seniors only, so there's student aid, which I know as I understand is going to be kind of revamped next year, but generally speaking is where you can work with a teacher in order to get some community service hours, in order to get, instead of going to a class, you work with a teacher in order to get community service hours is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. For a period, you have to have a minimum of a 3.0 GPA and be in good academic standing in order to qualify for that. The other thing is that senior privilege is the option for seniors. Senior privilege is where you can leave 1 period early. So you have 7th period for senior privilege, and you can just leave 1 period early. You have to have stable transportation to leave after 6th period. You cannot hang out on campus after 6th period. You cannot walk over to Regency. You have to leave campus after 6th period every single day for senior privilege. You have to have a minimum of a 2.0 GPA, which if you recall is the minimum in order to graduate. You have to have a minimum of 20 credits starting your senior year in order to qualify for that. You also have to have your community service hours turned in order to qualify for senior privilege. All right, if you have questions about any of that I just went over, because I understand that was a lot, you can always go to these purple pages in the back of the guide, click on these, and it'll give you more information about any of those classes. If you're like, oh my gosh, what is African American history? What is all of those different ACE media studies? You can always go and click on them and get a little bit more information about them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Wheatley. I appreciate you going over all of that. This guide is interactive, so feel free to click on these tabs to go to a section that you're interested in. As a friendly reminder, your core classes will be determined by your teachers or school counselors and administration based on grades and test scores. We are asking for students, all the incoming 9th through 12th graders, to select their 6 elective choices. Our incoming 10th through 12th graders will have this Google sheet. There's a Google form right here in the blue that's linked on this slide. It's slide number 27. So students are to click on that and select 6 electives by choice. So their first 3 would be their ideal choices because they'll have their 4 core classes, and then the next 3 to equal a total of 7 would be their ideal schedules. And the next 3 for numbers 4, 5, and 6 would be their backups in case any of their first 3 are not available or don't work with their schedule for any reason. We do want to make sure all students are submitting this by Monday, February 24th. That is a day where students have off and teachers are working. So make sure that if they have not submitted it this weekend, that by Monday, February 24th, they're submitting it. If the student does not submit it, we as counselors will be designating their electives, but we would much prefer to have their choices so we make sure they're in a spot that they're enjoying and liking as best they can. We do have additional information on the right side of this screen for our incoming 9th graders. So if you're an incoming 9th grade student or parent or guardian, feel free to read through that. We'll have more information for you during our course selection information night on March 11th. That information will be going out soon. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you reading through this. For any additional questions, we have listed on here the school counselors at our school, along with our college and career coach. Our academy coordinator is listed on there as well. Thanks so much, and we're looking forward to having you all next year.